What's up, guys, and welcome back to Mid-Pack Mania. There's no kart racing this week because there's still a few weeks left before Chowchilla race number 4 and 5 kick off, but I still wanted to bring you guys a new video. So today I'm going to be talking about my personal iRacing setup to maybe help someone else get into it that's not sure where to start, because when I was wanting to get into it, I had no idea what I was looking for. I didn't have a lot of money to work with, and I didn't have a lot of room to work with, so I needed something that was cost efficient and something that wasn't going to take up a lot of room, and if I wanted to take it with me, I could. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. If you guys like the videos, make sure you subscribe down below, but let's get into today. When iRacing added dirt track racing and they got the World of Outlaws license and they added late models, street stocks, etc., they gained a lot of attention from people like me that have just wanted a good dirt track racing game for a long time. The only bad thing is iRacing can get really expensive really quick if you don't know what you're looking for and how far you want to go with it. Today, this video is for people that just want to have fun. They want the minimum requirements so they can just go out, hit the track, not mess with other people, but still be able to turn some laps and have a good time. So obviously the most important piece of equipment with iRacing is going to be a good computer that'll run the game. You can try to find something used, but I wanted to find something new, that way I knew what I was getting and it was going to meet all the requirements that it said it had on the box. So on Black Friday this year at Best Buy, I was able to get this HP 15.6 gaming laptop for around 400 bucks, but you can still find them for around 500 after Black Friday. This actually exceeds all of the iRacing requirements. iRacing requires a Windows 7. This has Windows 10. It requires a Ryzen 3. This has a Ryzen 5. It does require 8 gigs of RAM. This says it has 8 gigs, but it only has 6 because Windows takes 2 gigs, but it's only about 30 bucks to have a new stick of RAM put in, and it'll boost you up to about 12. iRacing requires GTX 660. This has GTX 1050. iRacing only needs about 10 gigs of free space, and this has 256. Even if you got every track and every car, it's only 40 gigs of memory that iRacing needs. And if you need a mic, pretty much any kind of headset will work on that. So there's a lot of people that they don't want to game on a laptop. Well, the good thing about this is it has an HDMI port where you can plug it into a separate monitor or a TV like I have. I have it plugged into a 50-inch where I sit back and I'm able to play it, and you just kind of use the laptop as a console. So the next step is deciding how you want to play the game. Do you want to invest on a full-on gaming wheel setup that can average around $200, or do you want to just start with a controller from a console that you already have? iRacing supports PS4 controllers, Xbox 360 controllers, Xbox One controllers, but then almost every gaming wheel they support too, but like I said, they're going to cost around $200 to get started. Myself, I just use a standard Xbox One controller until I can afford to get a good gaming wheel later. They have the cheap T80 Thrustmaster. I do not suggest getting that. If you're going to buy a wheel, get one that has forced feedback. It will make you a better driver because it'll give you feedback as you're driving, basically, just like a real car would. So after you get your computer situation figured out, your controller situation figured out, the final step is signing up for iRacing. iRacing is not cheap by any means. I think it's $100 per year per 2 years, but there's always promo codes for new users out there. PR Hot Laps is one that currently works in December of 2019. I'll put that down below, but that's the one that I use, and you get 3 months for $5, so you can try it out. Make sure you're going to like it before you start spending too much money getting into it. Another bad thing about iRacing is every track and every car costs money. Say you want to race sprint cars, it's $12 to buy the sprint car. Say you want to race that sprint car at Eldora, it's $12 to buy Eldora. So you're in almost 25 bucks just to run one type of class at one track. That's another thing you want to consider. You start off with a free street stock and maybe a free legend, but anything else beyond that you're going to have to pay for. So that's it. You guys know my computer setup, my controller setup for now, and how much it costs to get started. So now the only thing to do is decide if you really want to spend the money to get into the game, and is it worth it for you to basically play a racing simulator. So I'll take you guys on, take some laps on my setup so you can see kind of how it looks. Even with 6 gigs of RAM active, I can still pull about 30-35 frames per second. So we'll go into that. You guys can see how it is, but make sure you subscribe down below, shoot a like if you enjoyed it. Leave a comment if you have any questions about my setup, and I'll try to help you out the best that I can. But anyways, thanks for checking out Mid-Pack Mania. Let's go hit the track in a simulator since we can't hit the real track this week. Alright, so we got the street stock out at the dirt track at Charlotte. if you want to actually race, you have to race against real people and they're scheduled. So say 4:30 or 5:30 or however, they're on certain times every hour throughout the day. But you can test whenever you want. So that's what we're doing now. I haven't played in like a week, so we'll see how rusty it is. That little ghost car up there is your best time on the track. So you turn on the reference card and you can just kind of always be competing with your best time and get better that way. I like the dirt track in Charlotte because it's got a really good cushion up top. That's kind of fun to play with whenever, especially once the track gets worn in later in the feature and things like that. That really kind of helps you get around the turns a lot better. It's just kind of hard to hit it. You got to hit the wall a few times before you really start figuring it out. See all this black on the track right here? It's real slick. So that's when it's good to kind of just turn a lot of laps of a track like this and figure out where you want to run it as it starts breaking in real time. We're getting a little squirrely here, but anyways, you guys get an idea of it. It's much more fun when you're racing against people, but it's also really stressful too, just like a real race, because if you wreck them, they're out. There's no resetting your car. In street stock, there's no yellows, so if you get wrecked, that's it. You're playing catch up the whole time, or a lot of people just kind of drop out. So regardless, iRacing is a ton of fun. You can make money on it if you get really good. They have tournaments all the time. But it is a big commitment if you want to get started just to do iRacing. So regardless, now you guys have a bit of an idea. Hopefully I helped you guys. Like I said, subscribe down below, drop a comment, drop a like. If I helped you out, if you have any questions, leave a comment. I'll be happy to answer to the best of my own knowledge. I just don't know a lot about computers, so I know just enough to make my iRacing go. And right now I'm getting 62 frames per second, even with a decent graphics card and 6 gigs of RAM. So anyways, until next time, the next race is December 29th. And until then, thanks for checking out Mid-Pack Mania iRacing Edition.